welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, February 16th. I'm Kiki Thaxter.
And I'm Krista McDonald. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood.
This week on Norwood News, we get this month's Moral Moment from Clayton Cheever. We learn about the early voting hours for the presidential primary election. But first, the Planning Board had a full house on Monday night with multiple public hearings. After many questions from the community and meetings allowing for community input, the Planning Board voted to approve both the MBTA zoning requirements, Section 3A, and the MBTA multifamily overlay district map. Chair Dan Hashey addressed a question from an attendee.
What I'm wondering is how much have we already met because of the multifamily and the affordable or the housing that we already
So
have?
I will ultimately defer to Sarah because she's the expert on this, but just to predict what she's going to say, this is not a production mandate. This is the state is forcing us to zone for, as she said, if for whatever reason if these particular areas were razed to the ground and we had to rebuild, this is what the zoning would look like. All our multifamily units as they exist are not countable towards any sort of quota in this calculus. And Sarah can speak to this.
Yeah, that 2,000 number is a hypothetical build-out number that tests kind of the rules that we create. We're not getting measured on how many units actually end up on the ground or are on the ground now. This is really all about the zoning and not about, the present or resulting, composition of the land itself, if that makes sense. One way that we do get low-key credit, the fact that we already have multifamily housing does put us in a position of advantage because we already have neighborhoods that have multifamily housing. We're creating a district that's consistent with what's already there. And as a result, not every parcel, if we were zoning in an agricultural area, right, that was just acres and acres and acres of open space ready to be sold to a developer to take advantage of this law, you might see much closer to that 2,000 figure, right? Because there's zero there now and there's just infinite amounts of economic incentive to redevelop and build as much as possible there. What we're doing is using land that's already being used for a mix of other uses, one of which is multifamily housing. And so the incentive to kind of build out to the parameters of this bylaw just isn't there. And that means that as a result of this, we're not going to see nearly as much redevelopment as some communities might who don't have as much existing multifamily housing as we do. So it's a position of advantage, but it doesn't count in one way or another towards compliance with the actual law.
This bylaw will be voted on at the March special town meeting.
With the weather working in its favor, the Kley Middle School construction has been rolling. Jack McCarthy meets up with Bethany and Luke for NCM's monthly construction update.
Welcome back. Joining me, as usual, for the Kley Middle School update construction is Bethany King from WT Rich. And what's been going on since we last met?
A lot. Honestly, we've poured some slabs, so the concrete slabs we were talking about last time. We're doing a lot of underground. So right now we're sitting on the first floor of Zone C, and you can see we've backfilled, and what you see here is some Stego, which is your air vapor barrier below that slab. So in a couple weeks we'll be pouring that. MEP groups are here. They're starting their rough in, and we also are starting to remove some of the tarps and put permanent framing and sheathing in place, so the roofers will be here shortly.
And one of the cool things about having it, I wouldn't say it's not buttoned up, but there's enough so that even though it's cold outside, it's comfortable in here.
Yep, that's the goal. We've been fighting it. It's the middle of winter, and there's a lot of activities we do that need that heat. So fireproofing and concrete both have a minimum temperature of 40 degrees. So we have some temporary heaters here, and that's why you see that building wrapped, so we can trap the heat in as much as we can.
Now, is the entire building wrapped now?
They're wrapping A as we speak, and we're starting to take C down. So at some point, most of it will be wrapped. Yep.
And so when do you don't need it after you pour the floors, or am I wrong?
We'll need some heat in here. Yep, we'll have to fireproof again in some of the decks. They'll need it. And then some of the MEPs, like to seal the ductwork, certain things like that will need heat. But by that point, we'll have the roof on and some sheathing up, so it'll trap heat much better.
Any issues?
You're gonna jinx us.
I know, sorry. We'll forget that question. We'll move on.
No, knock on wood, everything has been going according to plan. We are still trying to we are a little ahead of schedule. We're progressing positively after the steel. So we're just trying to pull everyone forward and keep that pace.
And so, we saw some framing was that on the third floor?
Yeah, third and fourth, they're starting framing now, yep.
So what does that entail and what are we looking at?
So they're framing the exterior walls. So the framing's going up now, sheathing's coming next week. They need that framing in place so they can start roofing. And then we need the roof in place to be temp or permanent tight in here. So that's what they're actively doing now. The outside of the sheathing that you'll see that board, eventually you have a mix of brick, some split face CMUs, some fiber cement panels, some metal wall panels, some storefronts, some curtain wall. Your whole exterior wall is that system. That's coming in March.
And so we saw when we were upstairs, we saw some of the steel that had different color on it. Was that the
Yes,
fireproof?
that's fireproofing, exactly.
What's that entail? And is
It's a
every
mess.
piece of steel fireproof?
No, every piece of steel does not get fireproofed. It's a pretty messy operation. It's a cementitious material, and yeah, the various steel pieces, most steel pieces, and then some underside of decks get sprayed as well. We have a whole plan of what gets sprayed and what doesn't, but some of the areas you see up there that got sprayed now is the perimeter of the steel, because when we put the framing past it, we're going to block our own access. So they came and sprayed that first so we can run the framing by them.
And what was that word, the adjective you used for material, with an S?
Cementitious.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Real testament here. It officially, I think it is basically just like a fibrous-based product. I don't know. I guess if you quiz me and Google that, I think it's right.
It's either that or something else.
Or something else, right? It's paper-based, basically. They spray it on.
Anything else that happened that we haven't talked about?
A lot of things we probably haven't talked about. We're moving
These
good.
are the big.
These are the big milestones. Yep.
All right, so we'll be back with Luke Arpone to see what's next. And we're back with Luke, as promised, Luke Arpone from Vertex. And Luke, what's on the agenda? What's coming up?
Sure, so as Bethany mentioned, they've started to frame the exterior wall up on the 4th floor in Area C. That'll allow the roofing to begin installation next week or so. And then falling down, working top down through the building, the mechanical contractors, electrical, plumbing are installing their, rough conduit, electrical hangers, and anything they can on the upper floors. Ductwork has started to be installed. Behind me, you can see wrapped in that tarp over there, some scaffolding. They're going to begin installing the CMU block for the elevator shafts. And then they're also installing the permanent staircases. There's 4 permanent staircases in the building. One of them is in, and the second one is underway right now.
All right, so I'm going to have to do it, since you used the word that people don't understand, I'm going to have to ask you, what was that block again?
Sure, CMU. It's basically like the cinder blocks that everybody's used to seeing, CMU blocks. Those
I thought it was one word, but it's CMU.
CMU,
Okay.
Yep. Concrete
Cylinder,
masonry
yeah.
unit.
There you go.
And those are going to be what will form the elevator shafts.
All right. So they both passed their test today, so that's good. Anything else we need to know?
No, we're hitting it hard. The next thing, the big thing will be get these slabs, slab on grades poured by the end of February in areas B and C.
How many people about?
40 to 50 when they're pouring. Concrete's a larger crew for those days. You get an extra 10 to 12 people on those days, but 40, 50, 60 on a given day.
Good. Okay. Well, thanks for being with us.
Jack.
We'll see you both next month.
Will do. Yep.
And that'll do it for here. And stay tuned for more digest.
When Norwood News returns, Clayton Cheever delivers February's Moral Moment, Abby Trahan tells us all about what's going on in Norwood schools, and Ron Marshalsea has the latest in sports. Over the year of 2023, NCM has put together a variety of different Living Locals segments. Our Living Locals focus on the different businesses here in Norwood, from retro games at Hometown Arcade to homemade jewelry at the Cove Boutique. NCM continues to find special places for viewers like you to go enjoy. Watch this compilation of Norwood's businesses on the NCM Community Channel.
The town clerk's office has announced the early voting hours for the upcoming presidential primary election on March 5th. The schedule is as follows. Saturday, February 24th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, February 26th through Thursday, February 29th from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and Friday, March 1st, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Saturday the 24th is also the final day to register to vote for the presidential primary, and the only entrance for early voting is the Memorial Hall front entrance on the first floor of Norwood Town Hall. For more information, or if you have any questions, be sure to contact the town clerk's office.
Grab a book and get comfy because Library Director Clayton Cheever is back with February's edition of Moral Moment.
Greetings, library lovers. Welcome to the Morrill Memorial Library, Norwood's public library for everyone. I'm Clayton Cheever. I use he, his pronouns. I'm your library director, and I'm about to share some awesome events and resources you don't want to miss. For our grown-up friends, we're celebrating Black History Month with award-winning educator Joel McCall, who will present the hidden history of Black Boston on Monday evening, February 26th. From tales 400 years old around Long Wharf and Faneuil Hall, through vibrant communities in Beacon Hill, the South End, and Roxbury, our guide, who regularly leads walking tours, is sure to educate and excite us. Questions are definitely welcomed and encouraged in what we trust will be an engaging conversation. Registration is a must, so mark your calendars. We're especially grateful to the Friends of the Library for making this program possible. Talking about that program for Black History Month reminded me we have a great resource to further dive into Boston history, our historical Boston Globe online collection, which completely covers all the years from 1872 through 1979. You'll find this on our online resources page, which is on the research menu on our website. Our historical Boston Globe online collection has full page and article images, and all the text is fully searchable back to the very first issue. Use it for research or just to see what people around the Northeast were reading and talking about many, many years ago. And now, what I'm sure you've been waiting for, our hand-picked book recommendations. Dive into the heartwarming world of Forever and Always by Brittany J. Thurman. This lyrical picture book beautifully captures the daily joys and fears of one anxious young Black child and her family. With poetic text that just begs to be read out loud and expressive artwork by Shamar Knight Justice, it's a must-read for fans of Jacqueline Woodson and Christian Robinson. Join the emotional journey of anticipation, love, and the comfort of a loved one's return home. Discover the powerful tale of resilience and triumph in How Do You Spell Unfair by Carol Boston Weatherford, a Coretta Scott King author honor book. This deeply affecting portrait unfolds the inspiring journey of Magnolia Cox, an extraordinary 8th grader who, in 1936, became the first African American to win the Akron, Ohio Spelling Bee. As she embarked on the prestigious National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C., Magnolia faced not only the challenges of competition, but also the harsh reality of segregation. Weatherford and illustrator Frank Morrison, award-winning collaborators, masterfully convey Magnolia's groundbreaking achievement, shedding light on the prejudice and discrimination she encountered. A poignant narrative of determination against injustice, How Do You Spell Unfair, is a must-read for all ages. All right, my seasoned readers, get ready. Embark on a magical journey with One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, a Goodreads Choice Award nominee for Best Romance in 2021. For August, a cynical 23-year-old, New York City was supposed to confirm her belief that magic and cinematic love stories are mere fantasies. However, her mundane life takes an unexpected turn when she encounters Jane, a dazzling and mysterious girl on the train. As August's subway crush becomes the highlight of her day, she soon discovers the extraordinary truth about Jane. She's displaced in time from the 1970s. In this magical, sexy, and big-hearted romance, McQuiston weaves a tale where the impossible becomes possible. August must draw on everything from her own past to save the girl lost in time. One Last Stop is a captivating love story that challenges cynicism and invites us to believe in the extraordinary. And some nonfiction. Indulge your senses in the delectable world of Great Moments in Chocolate History by Howard Yana Shapiro. A delightful journey that unveils the untold stories behind the world's favorite indulgence. Packed with irresistible facts and captivating photos, this beautiful book is a treasure trove for chocolate lovers. Discover fascinating tidbits like M&Ms being invented for World War II soldiers and Marie Antoinette having her own personal chocolate maker. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson predicted chocolate would surpass coffee in popularity in America? Shapiro's delightful narrative is complemented by 20 sinfully delicious chocolate recipes from around the world. A perfect blend of history and indulgence, this book is a treat for chocoholics everywhere. But wait, there's more. Are you familiar with the amazing treats to be found in our library of things? Today, I brought our space heater. Yes, that's right, we really don't want you to get cold. Spring will be here soon, but when you need a little extra warmth, why don't you check this out and take it home with you? Check out our Pinterest page from the Books and More menu to see what other treasures we have waiting for you. What will you borrow to make your life more comfortable? Before I sign off, I have a massive shout out to our superheroes, the Friends of the Library. This month, in addition to the Black History Month program, they also provided the funds for our art therapy programs, as well as our kids program, Farm Fresh, Where Does Our Food Come From?, presented by a representative of the Massachusetts Horticultural Society on February 21st. The Friends book sale is a great place to find a fantastic tale or two, and it supports the Friends who make so much magic happen here. The Friends are also doing their annual membership drive right now, so please give them your support so they can continue to support us. I also want to personally thank everyone who's continuing to bring donations for the food pantry and animal shelter. They really appreciate our support, helping everyone stay fed. That's a wrap for this Moral Moment. I'm Clayton Cheever, your guide through the wonders of the library, wishing you a fabulous February. We can't wait to see you at the library. Until next time, keep reading, keep exploring, and keep spreading the love.
Now let's throw it over to Abby Trahan for the latest in school news.
I'm Abby Trahan, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. Norwood High School had some special visitors on Valentine's Day to help spread some love in the hallways. Here is School Resource Officer Jeff Baguma.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeffrey Baguma, Officer Baguma. What is happening today is we are going to 6 special schools today. All schools are special, Norwood Public Schools, but we have time to have Mustang Sally and her family members go out and spread some love on this beautiful Valentine's Day, and it's also Black History Month Spirit Week, so we wanted to add a little extra into the students' and staff's lives today, bringing some joy.
Ball's 5th graders are studying interactions in matter. They examine the question, does the weight of mixtures change after a chemical reaction? They combine baking soda and vinegar, baking soda and lemon juice, and Alka-Seltzer and water to create a chemical reaction. They weighed the materials before and after mixing and recorded the observations. Way to go, Ball scientists. At the Callahan School, NHS French students met with students to talk about the French program at the high school. The high school students prepared lessons and then presented them to the Callahan students. It was a great way for the younger students to look forward to the many opportunities at Norwood High. These same students also traveled to the other schools to help promote the French program at Norwood High. The 5th grade students at the Cleveland School took a field trip to the Commonwealth Museum. They experienced a trial of the British soldiers that were involved with the Boston Massacre. They got to explore artifacts from the original 13 colonies and see documents from that time. At the Prescott School, the students and staff had a fun day celebrating the 100th day of school. Students and staff were encouraged to dress to represent the 100th day. This could look like dressing up like a 100-year-old, representing the number 100 on your shirt, or a fun, happy 100th day shirt. Pictures of each staff member were taken and made into a slideshow. Some students really got into character, acting like a 100-year-old during the day. Some popular t-shirts were Super Bowl themed with Swifties who took the Travis Kelce jersey number 87 and added Taylor Swift's lucky number 13 to get to 100. During lunch, students voted on their favorite staff member. In first place from 3rd grade was Mrs. Hatchie. In second place, also from 3rd grade, was Mrs. Condon. The PTO generously donated gift cards for the 2 winners of the staff contest. The PTO also surprised students with a cool lawn sign at the entrance of school and gave each student a cute, happy 100th day pencil. It was a festive and fun way to kick off the week and celebrate being 100 days smarter. This week at the Little Mustangs Preschool Academy, they talked about what Valentine's Day means to them and the many ways they can show people who they love, appreciate, and care about them. The students decorated their bags and exchanged Valentines to show they care about each other. Letter heart hunts, dice games, and crafts were enjoyed in celebration of this happy holiday. That's it for school news this week. We appreciate all the teachers who take the time to share their news with us. It helps provide us with an inside look at what's happening in our classrooms. Now, let's go across the studio to Ron Marshalsea, who has the latest in sports.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your sports update. The girls' basketball team continued their winning ways after getting the big win over Westwood last Friday night, 57-32. This game was part of the Giles Parker Crosstown Classic, and senior captain Lauren Reen was given the Andrea Dixon Lavery Award after helping her team get the win over a well-coached Wolverine squad. The Mustangs are now 14-4 heading into their final 2 regular season matchups, where they travel to Medfield on the 15th at 6, and they host Newton South on Friday for their senior night tip-off at 6 o'clock. The boys basketball team hosted Westwood last Friday and Medfield on Wednesday, but couldn't pick up wins in either game. The bright spot in the senior night Medfield game was senior captain Maddie Mahoney became only the 6th guy and 10th Mustang overall to score 1,000 points in his NHS basketball career. Brian Boudreau, Brian Gagliard, and Danielle DeMatia caught up with Maddie after his historic milestone, and Joe Pinola and Nora Glynn were on the call for the bucket that got Mahoney his 1,000th point.
Off the backboard,
Right,
doesn't
there
get
you
it.
go,
And the rebound to Dearborn. Long pass from
this could be
Mahoney.
it.
This could be it. And he gets it. Maddie Mahoney with 1,000 points.
That is so nice that they have it done now.
And Coach Chris Fraioli jumped up instantly.
And did a timeout.
And he's congratulating
So nice.
by his teammates.
Oh, John Longley's all set. He's got that.
John
Oh,
Longley,
this is
as
so
you'll
nice.
see in just a moment, coming over with the
His parents.
1,000-point
His dad.
balloons.
And his brother. That's his brother Ryan that's out there. Ryan's 20. I think a 2020 graduate. Oh, and his 2 sisters.
So congratulations to Maddie, who's been a great
That's so
player
nice.
on the court, in the classroom,
Oh, absolutely.
and
On the
really
field,
just
on the court.
a nice kid, a humble kid for all the
Just a really
accomplishments
nice-
he's had.
And nice family.
Yeah, I feel amazing. It's been a dream of mine ever since I was a little kid, watching my siblings play Norwood basketball. So yeah, it feels great.
How does it feel to hit it at home in front of friends, family, in the town of Norwood?
Yeah, it feels amazing. We had a great crowd tonight, so it was a pleasure to get in front of them, and all of my family popped out. So I want to say thanks to them.
This is the first time in over 22 years that 1,000 points have been scored in back-to-back seasons, with NHS Class of 23 graduate Noah Bodette hitting his 1,000th point last year. The Mustangs will be at Pembroke High School on Tuesday the 20th at 5 o'clock. The girls' hockey team hosted Medway and Martha's Vineyard at the skating club this week, getting the shutout 2-0 win over Medway on senior night, but fell short to MV 2-1 in overtime. Bernadette Tenori got the shutout against Medway, and Emily Spadorsha and Lauren Galvin got the scores for Norwood. The girls get a rematch with the Vineyard when they travel there next Monday, the 19th, puck drop at 1 o'clock. The boys' hockey team's hot streak came to a halt because of Westwood and Hopkinton, losing to Westwood 3-2 and Hopkinton 2-1. The championship of the Bryn Division in the Ed Burns Coffee Pot Tournament was held this past Sunday, where the Mustangs took down Belmont in double overtime. Sam Lally tied the game at 1 to send it to overtime, and eventual Bryn Division Tournament MVP, Andrew Gillis, scored the game winner off a deflected shot to give Norwood the win and crown them as this year's Ed Burns Bryn Division champions. Anthony Amato had 36 saves in net to accompany an excellent game and tournament from the Mustangs. For standings and rankings, this double overtime win only counts as a 1-1 tie, making the Mustangs' record now 13-3-2. They are heading to Dedham on Sunday the 18th. Start time is 4 o'clock. And NCM will also be live with their final regular season game against King Philip Wednesday the 21st at 5. Bridget Sopel and Colleen Sisk of the swim and dive team are heading to States this weekend. Bridget finished 14th in the 100 breaststroke in sectionals this past weekend and qualified for States, beating her best time in the 100 breast by 1 second. That is a huge drop in time for a swimmer. Colleen Sisk finished 7th in diving at sectionals, and she qualified for States earlier this year and has been the consistent high scorer in diving throughout the season and finished 4th in the recent Tri-Valley Showcase. Shay Larkey finished her season off by placing 10th in diving at sectionals. And also at sectionals, Caleb Kwan, David DiMattia, Anthony Kavanaugh, and Ted Caparata broke the school record in the 200 freestyle relay. The wrestling team has 8 wrestlers participating in the MIAA D2 Wrestling State Tournament on Friday, February 16th. Nate Sue, Drew Bartuca, Alex Dunstan, Ahmed Alalfi, TJ Wyman, James Botello, Jared Tinlin, and Ben Kelly. Congratulations and good luck to each of these wrestlers who have done nothing but dominate all season long. We here at NCM try to stay up to date with Mustangs doing great things in their respective sports at the next level. NHS class of 2020 graduate and track and field athlete Solomon King has added his name to yet another Stonehill record. He now holds the 60, 200, 300, and 400 school records and recently broke his own 200-meter record, running it in 21.24 seconds. This next Norwood athlete didn't graduate from NHS, but he has been dominant on the lacrosse field for the St. Michael's College Purple Knights, and that is junior Christian Reyes. Reyes played all 13 games last season and scored 16 goals to go along with 10 assists and 3 caused turnovers. And we have to mention Christian is the son of NCM commentator and NHS teacher Dan Reyes. If you are or know more athletes in college that are from Norwood and are doing amazing things, don't hesitate to reach out to me by email, ron@norwoodcommunitymedia.org. And that is all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshalsea. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
The Board of Selectmen weathered the storm on Tuesday and met in the Harry Butters Chamber at Town Hall. The meeting began with Fire Chief Bailey and Police Chief Brooks recapping the things their departments handled and accomplished recently, and the board wished Chief Brooks well as he plans to retire in April. The third appearance, Ryan Debin, the owner of Launch, applied to have alcoholic beverages sold and drank on the premises. After a lengthy discussion, Selectman Donnelly motioned to deny the application. Selectman Plasko and Sad voted in favor of the denial, while Selectwoman Groh and Chairman Lane voted against denying the application, resulting in it being denied 3-2. Later in the evening, the board discussed the timeline for the Hawes Pool construction.
Mr. Mizuka is going to just explain the construction timeline associated with the Hawes. I want to just say at the onset that there's been some confusion or chatter about the need to, based on our current construction project, to close the Haas pool in order to effect the construction of the pool as soon as possible. I know we've had some discussions on capital outlay and regarding a different timeline. Having been part of the pool feasibility study way back when, I think there were some conversations regarding the opportunity for the town to keep the pool open and start the construction after a pool season ended. I think since that time, my experience has shown, or at least my history has shown, that a variety of things have interfered with that particular goal, which may have been really very optimistic at the time. One is that, sure, if we had approval of that project, let's say at the May town meeting, we would have been able to certainly proceed with that, but we don't approve capital projects in May. Given that this project was approved in November with all of other projects, that sets our timeline quite differently. So now the opportunity is, or the process is, that with the approval in November, you could not start the project any sooner than that. The town has organized the appropriate bid documents that have resulted from our design work that was done over the period of 22 and 2023. They are just out to bid recently, and it is anticipated that, given the complexity of design, that this is Mr. Mizuka will correct me, somewhere in the vicinity of a 6 to 8 month time frame. So that necessitates the pool closing, which is certainly not great. However, the other part of, at least my experience being involved with the feasibility study as well as on capital outlay, with this particular project, when we started the feasibility, Mr. Lane and I were on the feasibility committee.
It's 2020.
2020, it's long. There was a lot of optimism, both from a cost and from a timeline perspective. So I believe that the decision to close the pool is the correct one at this point in time. This project has gone from an initial estimate of, I think, under $4 million as recently as 2022. And now, when we approved the project in November, it escalated to $5.7 million. So, yes, there would be an opportunity perhaps for the town to say, we will hold the bid and do it later in the summer and affect a September timeframe. But I do believe that has some risks associated with it. I think there's a risk that, given the escalation of this project costs, we could be looking at something north of $5.7 million that was authorized in November, because I think cost escalation continues in this particular market.
The Board of Selectmen meet again on February 27th.
The school committee met this week, where Interim Director of Finance and Operations, Matthew Wells, gave a presentation on the FY24 budget-to-date report and the FY25 first pass of the superintendent's recommended budget. The school committee superintendent and Director of Finance and Operations will be discussing this at the budget balancing on Thursday.
So in summary, again, we're recommending the superintendent's recommended budget of $5,641,474, or 9.95% increase. This recommendation, again, as we have just covered, uses a lot of different revenue sources, but and some reductions to different areas, but does maintain staff and absorbs the ESSER funds, the ESSER positions into the general budget. Again, we're looking to accomplish with this budget. The first two are pretty big ones. No reductions to current staffing levels. That's really a target that's one we want to achieve. Absorption of those ESSER 3 positions, we feel that's great to be able to get those into the budget. Meeting the needs of our increasing diverse student population. Additional attention to educational learning loss and social emotional needs of students through targeted intervention. Continuing of our one-to-one Chromebooks, our curriculum refresh, PD, diversity, equity, inclusion, technology, and instructional practice. Continuing our community service, Minds Matter, interface referral helpline, and the Metro West Youth Behavioral Survey. And continued use of grants and revolving funds to meet educational objectives and close operational funding gaps. which we would like to do less of.
Chair Mazzola delivered a long-term agenda review, and her and Kate Sibbing-Dunn gave an update on the policy subcommittee. The school committee will meet again on March 6th.
I was serious last week when I said coffee and beer in the same location. Let's go see what's brewing at the Space Center at Irish Brewing.
Carl Sharpley, owner of Irish Brewing, located at Norwood Space Center, is no stranger to owning and operating a brewery.
So I've been in the brewing business since 2010 in California. I also have another business out there, Santa Monica Brew Works, which I helped develop. Obviously I'm from Ireland. I love beer, and I always enjoyed making it, and I always enjoyed seeing people drink it and socializing, and that's really why I got involved in this business.
Sharpley, who is originally from Ireland, fell in love with Norwood and their Irish culture and decided to open Irish Brewing in May 2022.
Yeah, Irish Brewing is totally unique in a sense. I mean, we're going to talk to our brewmaster in a few minutes, but we really concentrate on like stouts and ales, sours, gruits. So we're kind of traditionalists here in a sense. Everything's low ABV, easy drinking. We're not heavy on the IPAs like everyone else. We like to have variety across the board and really concentrate on Irish styles. What we do is we source some ingredients from Ireland. We use Irish seaweed, we use Irish soda bread in our sour. Any ingredients, some grains, malts, anything that we can get our hands on from Ireland, we'll use here.
Anthony Pasalacqua has been brewing for over 10 years and was thrilled to take on the title of head brewer at Irish Brewing for the past 2 years.
So we offer European-styled beers, not purely European beers, but European style with lower ABV, more beers that actually, as we call it here, taste like beer, not necessarily dessert beers, and all the beers loaded with more adjuncts than actual grain, going back to the actual classics, beer that actually stays to a particular style. So we do everything in-house except for our largest beer that we distribute, Southie Light, that used to be in-house, that was my creation, but now our place isn't big enough to distribute Massachusetts, so we had to sub that out to Dorchester Brewing Company.
Irish Brewing offers much more than only beer. They offer coffee, pizza, and more.
Well, we have a coffee shop that's open in the morning, Tuesday through Saturday. So we roast our own coffee beans. We get beans from all across the world. Right now we have Guatemalan and I think Honduran beans, some Ethiopian beans. So whatever decent beans we can get hold of, we'll roast them here and we'll serve them ourselves. So you won't get a fresher cup in Norwood than here. We do have a full liquor license as well, so we do offer wine. We do offer some Irish whiskies, some seltzers, so we have options for everyone, not just craft beer. The food, we have an amazing bar pizza. So a company in Canton called Big D's Pizza closed down last year, unfortunately. So we were able to grab their chefs, their amazing chefs, Anastasia and Andrea. So now we offer bar pizza here. And bar pizza is obviously special to the South Shore. And so that's what we specialize in.
So we took over the business from Napoleon Cafe in Washington Street in Canton about 2 years ago, and then they closed down the restaurant. Everybody retired, so we found a new home here. I like the uniqueness of the type of pizza that we do. The South Shore bar pizza is not a very common concept. It's a very original concept.
Just
in
on the
our
South Shore.
area.
It's on the South Shore.
We have people from New York. We have people from Chicago talking about our, from relatives and everything, talking about our style of pizza. So we're proud to
we're very proud.
Something that unique.
And it's been the same recipe for 76 years.
78 now.
Yeah.
Maybe 77,
Yeah.
78, yeah.
Sharpley is happy to call Norwood home and loves how the Norwood community has embraced his staff and brewery as one of their own.
Norwood has been great. Town have been fantastic to work with. I can't say enough about everyone at Town Hall. I love the people here. And there's not enough good things I could say about being in Norwood. It was a big change of pace for me coming from Santa Monica, but I have to say I do love it. I love the Irish American community, I love the Irish community, and people in general are just great out here. I would say step foot in here first of all and come and meet the staff. We're not a huge company, we're a small company, and everybody's local that works here. We've got a great team of people. We really like to socialize here, so we're always engaging with our customers, and as they say, we like to have the crack. Crack in Ireland is fun, so this is a great place to do that.
To learn more about Irish Brewing, visit their website, Facebook, or Instagram pages.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to leave you with a list of upcoming events being covered by Norwood Community Media. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
Have a good one, everybody.